Welcome, guys, back to the I Love Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Woolwine, and today we're welcome with Machine Gun Bishop. How we doing, man?
What's up, man? I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, excited. Like I told you off camera, thank you for making this work. I know we had some scheduling conflicts, work be getting in the way sometimes.
Oh
Thank you
yeah.
for working with me. um, Before we dive into your career, your life, all things wrestling, would you like to shout out your social medias and possible upcoming events? Just to let the fans know where they can check you out and get the latest.
Yeah, for sure. So my social media is Machine Gun Bishop on Instagram, Machine Gun Bishop on Facebook as well. Those are typically the main ones that I use. I got two events coming up this weekend. I got Lethal Lucha down in Grand Rapids on Friday. Uh, and then this coming Saturday, I'm also have Midwest Championship Wrestling down in Ohio.
Okay.
So those are the two events that I have coming up. Uh, After that, what dates are we at? October 4th, I'll also be at IWE, a little bit further north of me in Michigan. And October 18th, I have Chaos over at Port Huron. That'll be a fun one. And then later on in the month, I'll be over at Horror Slam down in, I want to believe it's Southgate, if I remember correctly.
Nice.
So I got a few things. I got a few things coming up, and there's a couple that I'm off the top of my head that I can't remember right this second. But my October's kind of all over the place.
I feel you. I feel you. I'm the exact same
Mm.
way. I know in a couple weeks I'm going to Pittsburgh, and then I got a show in Illinois because I'm based out of Chicago or right outside of Chicago. So I got a show in Pittsburgh, and then I got a show in Chicago, and then I get it. I get you. Um,
So, like what part outside Chicago?
Rockford to be specific. So
Okay, cool.
it's like an hour west of
Okay,
Chicago.
yeah, no, yeah.
Uh,
So I
di-
used to hang out in Aurora a little bit west right there, and in the city itself, like Cicero and things like that. So
okay.
I'm
I'm
familiar with Illinois a little bit.
October 10th. I believe by the time this comes out, this will be announced. But by October 10th, I'm actually sponsoring a show in is it Elmwood Park? I can't remember. I'm terrible with the parks. It's one of the suburbs right outside of Chicago.
Okay,
I'm sponsoring a show out there,
that's
which
cool.
I don't do a lot of that. It's
Right.
rare. I did do a sponsorship with Exodus, which was fun, but
Okay.
so like I've been out there, and then like as far as Michigan goes, the only thing I've ever seen in Michigan's IWR with Rhino. I've
I
been
love
out to two shows.
IWR.
I've been out to two shows, and it's fantastic. I love the environment there. It's
Oh,
interesting.
it's fun. Rhino's a good guy. I've worked with him once over at Pure Pro Wrestling back in April.
Okay.
Um, also trained with him a little bit and stuff. He's a really good guy. If there's a guy to learn from, it's definitely him. He's that guy is such a good dude.
Absolutely. You know, I've the reason I ended up going out is because he came out to Chicago Star Wrestling to do a show, and I met him, and I started the podcast. I'd only been doing it a couple months, but I wanted to get him on, and I asked him about it, and he told me to come out to IWR and talk to him.
Yeah,
And I think it was one of those like I don't know if you'll actually do it, but I'm gonna see if you'll actually drive all the way out to Michigan to come talk to me so I can get on your show. And when I
right.
did, he was pleasantly surprised. And then
Yeah,
he got on. We talked about he had WrestleFest coming up, his first like big
yeah,
convention that he was putting together, and
yep.
that
I
was
was
fun. We
there
got to
on
talk
the
about
first
that.
day of it. Yeah, that
He
was
was
a
there on. I made it the second day. I didn't get to
yeah.
come the first day. I had to work.
Yeah, I was watching a couple friends of mine there. Actually, Sean Evans was wrestling that day too. Actually,
Really,
but yeah, no, he was there. Yeah,
I
but
missed that
no,
one.
it was that was a great convention. It was really good. He had a lot of good people there and stuff. Great guy.
It's I liked the WrestleFest because just before that, like the month before, I went to Squared Circle Expo in
Hmm.
Indianapolis,
Okay.
and it's chaos all around. But
Yeah.
Rhinos was, I mean, it's smaller, but
Yeah.
everybody had time for everybody. Like
Yeah.
everybody had
No,
time to
for
meet
sure.
each other, take pictures, talk. Like
Yep.
I talked to Eric Bischoff for like 10 minutes, and
Yeah. Yeah.
you
It was
wouldn't
nice
get
meeting
something
him.
like that at a big convention. So it's cool how Rhino was able to take the convention model and scale it down to where you could actually interact with people. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, On the podcast, we call it the I Love Wrestling podcast, and when I dive in, I always want to know, how did you find wrestling, and like what about this sport made you fall in love with it?
Um, so I mean, I grew up during the Attitude Era, so I mean, a lot of guys my age kind of have similar stories. Um, so I liked wrestling as a kid. Wasn't like in love with it yet. Um, so I told the story before. My grandparents, when they were up north, they had satellite TV, and I got a hold of being able to watch an ECW show when I was a kid, and that actually what really turned me on to wrestling and what I loved about it. That's when I fell in love with it. And then my stepdad at the time, he used to go on the Dixieland Flea Market, which is out in Waterford, Michigan. He used to sell stuff there on the weekends. And then I used to find this guy who used to do tape trading and stuff. So I'd buy like a lot of his tapes and stuff. So like ECW tapes, AAA, CMLL, things like that. So I liked WWE or WWF back then. Like WCW, I was a fan of it, but like that's not really what sparked my love for it. So it was really ECW that did.
So I've had guys on here that's tape traded before, but I've never had somebody be able to tell me like how it worked. I've always been interested in the process because I grew up right after tape trading.
So I was really young, so it wasn't really so much tape trading for me per se. It was actually I was just there's this guy, he always recorded them and stuff, and I would just buy them off of him. So anywhere between like 5, 10, 15, whatever it was,
Hmm.
during the time. So I would just get my hands on random things. So like because I was kind of on the tail end of that.
Okay.
It was getting more into because I was about 10, 11 years old. So like this was around when DCW about closed. And
Okay.
so I was finding those tapes, and then I started seeing them on actual television, and I was just like, oh shoot, that's RVD, and I was like, I was just watching a tape from like 1997, but so he's just a guy that kind of was just selling tapes and stuff. So that's kind of just how I found out about it. So.
Okay. Who were some of your favorites? Like who were your ECW favorites, and then maybe who was you watching on WWF that you really pay attention to?
So my ECW favorite, I always feel like it's very obvious. It's just like I'm a huge New Jack fan. I've loved New Jack
Okay.
since I was a kid. Just his overall mannerisms, just his behaviors and stuff. Just like I just thought he was like the most badass dude ever. Him, Jerry Lynn and RVD. I mean, those guys put on clinics. Like those are also my other two favorites. Eddie Guerrero, obviously. King Malenko. Just all the obvious guys.
Okay.
Um, WWE. When I was watching it, I mean, I like The Rock a lot. He's a big trash talker, so I was a big fan of him. Same thing with Steve Austin. Um, but like my favorite wrestler probably during that time, um, probably was either between Ken Shamrock and like Steve Blackman.
Oh, I
Yeah,
like
so
that.
so I liked a lot of the mid Carter guys growing up, just because like that's to me that's where you actually seen actual wrestling.
Hmm.
Like like the main eventers and stuff, like they was all character work. Like I love them to death, but like it was like kind of like the same 6, 7, 8 moves. You kind of knew what was going to happen. But like when you get to the mid card guys, like Owen Hart and all of them, and just like you kind of didn't really know what they were going to pull out. So it was always exciting to watch them. So
It's always felt like, watching the mid card guys that they have something to prove. So they go out there and
absolutely,
put the extra in.
yeah.
If the
So like the main
so
eventers, they'll get you there, but I feel like the mid card area is what keeps you there. So
exactly. I like
yeah,
I like how you put that.
yeah.
Um did you ever get a chance to meet New Jack?
No. So,
No?
but this past weekend, I wrestled a guy by the name of DBA. He's a hardcore legend. He is like the who's who of wrestling in Michigan. He was a tag team partner of his.
Okay.
So, so I never really got to actually meet New Jack, sadly, but I have met people and been around people and stuff who knew him. So,
You know,
closest I'll ever
when
get to him.
whenever I was 5, I want to say 5 or 6, I lived in West Virginia at the time. my dad would always take me to Madman Pondo's. He had IWA East Coast back in the day, and we'd go
Up
there.
around
And
there.
in the main event was New Jack, and I believe he was against Pondo. I could be
Mhm.
wrong, um, but the one thing I remember is I got his autograph on the old WWF like Attitude Era title, the one that Austin had.
Mhm.
And then during the match, New Jack he did the spot where he puts the guy on the middle rope and he's like jabbing him in the forehead with the
Yeah.
fork.
Yeah.
And I was sitting like right in front of him, and all you see is like blood squirt out of the guy's forehead.
Yeah.
And my dad like saw I was about to puke, so he goes to pick me up and take me to like the bathroom. And on the way to the bathroom, passing us is Ian Rotten and Zach Gowen, and I throw up
Yeah.
everywhere. And all they say is, "That's awesome. We'll take care of it," and then also sign an autograph.
Oh,
But
that's
like
cool.
that's my favorite New Jack story I get to tell
Yeah.
people is he
Yeah,
made
that's
me vomit.
awesome.
um, it's just crazy how things like that work. But no,
Oh
that's
yeah,
my
for
favorite New
sure.
Jack story to tell.
Yeah.
um, so growing up, a lot of fans have that moment in time where they're going through maybe high school or middle school, and they fall out of love with wrestling. They're not paying attention to it anymore. Was that
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. So about 2003, 2004, kind of fell out of it. I got into sports majorly. I was playing football, things like that. So I kind of just was off doing that kind of stuff, just getting into girls and everything. So I didn't really care about wrestling all that much. So I just stopped watching it for a few years. So
Okay.
and
What?
then
What? Sorry. Go
oh
ahead.
no, go ahead. No, no. Oh, here.
I was gonna ask what drew you back, but continue. You can
Oh,
continue
so
your story.
yeah, so what? As I was gonna say that what drew me back is I was actually watching Spike TV, and then I came across TNA,
Ooh.
and it was Samoa Joe, and I kind of knew who he was just from the internet,
Hmm.
because like even though I wasn't really watching it, I kind of kept tabs a little bit. So like like early YouTube things like that, So, but then I seen him, and I was like, oh shoot. So this is when they had the six-sided ring and everything. So I was watching that stuff, and the Kurt Angle popped up there. So it kind of brought me back into it, and I was just like, this was like really nice to actually watch something a little bit different than what I was, what I was accustomed to watching all the time on TV. So
Definitely. I once again, TNA was one of those things when I was a kid. My dad had he had like a special like cable box that he could get pay-per-view for free.
yeah, yep,
Back in the day, and we watched every episode of TNA every week on pay per view, and then we continued. Like once it went to Spike, we continued watching the normal stuff, and then we still got to watch all the pay per views. So TNA
yeah, yeah.
always felt like the underground thing for me. Like that was my version of ECW. I think was TNA when I was a kid.
Yeah, I can see that because that was really because WCW was gone. WWE had basically a chokehold on everything, so it was nice to have another option that was on television to watch that you didn't have to
Who
like search for.
who on there really sparked your interest?
It was mostly Samoa Joe, and then when I seen Sting, and I was like, "Is that like?" It was really crazy to see Sting somewhere else. But it was mostly Samoa Joe that really got me back into it. Just like it was just the mannerisms, the behavior, just the trash talking. It was just like I was just a huge fan of it, and then
Joe
that's what really kept me there.
Joe's always interested me because I mean he's been doing this for 20 plus years,
Yeah,
and Joe back in the day is just as intense as Joe now. Like
yeah,
he hasn't
oh, for
changed at
sure.
all, and I love
Mhm.
it so much.
Yeah,
Um,
he's arguably one of the greatest to do it.
definitely, definitely. So like growing up, going through high school, all that stuff, was wrestling ever the plan for you to do, or like what was your goal as far as whenever you was growing up?
Um, so I mean, I had the dream as a kid that I wanted to be a professional wrestler. I actually did think about it for a while. This was also, during the internet age again. It's about 2006, 2007 ish. I found out about Combat Zone Wrestling.
Okay.
Down in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and stuff like they were kind of like bringing back the ECW things, and then I found out that they had a wrestling school during that time. So I was debating on doing that. I was really thinking about it, and a few things happened in life with my family and stuff that I actually ended up going to the military instead. So I kind of just put that on the back burner and didn't really think about it again till late 20s, early 30s. So
Okay. So what uh what branch of the military did you end up joining?
I was in the Marine Corps. So
Marine Corps.
the joined 2008.
Okay. What was that process like? What did boot camp, things like that look like for you?
I mean, a lot of yelling, lot of drills, things like that. I don't really know how to explain it.
Okay.
It was an interesting time. Definitely shaped a lot of positive behaviors that I do have now. Like I try to be I'm very timely now. My posture's a lot different ever since all of that. So also the way I talk to people, you know.
Did you do
So
any tours or anything?
so I was actually injured right before my first tour. So I ended up hurting my back and I had a lot of issues with that. Ended up getting medically separated. So because I did go for a second opinion, same thing. So I was trying to stay in, but wasn't in the cards for me to stay in. So it is what it is. Came home, went back to school. Doing that. Ended up meeting my oldest daughter's mom. Started a family, and started doing the family man thing. And it's kind of where I was. And eventually, later on in life, I was in a situation where I was actually able to do it. Um, so, because I had a conversation with a friend of mine who was also a wrestler, Red Tiger. He's over at Super Shogun.
Okay.
Um, so he took a break for a little bit, and we were talking. This was about 10 years ago. No, not 10 years ago. I'm sorry. This was about 5 years ago. We were talking about this. This was like right at the beginning of COVID. That he was talking about wanting to get back into wrestling. And I was just like, well, if you do it, dude, I'll actually go train and stuff and, get into all of this so we can actually wrestle together. And he was just like, all right, if you do it, I'll do it. So that's kind of what happened. Uh, then one day randomly, I had to send him a video of me just in the wrestling ring training and stuff. And he kind of just had that moment. He's like, ah, shit, and I actually got to do this. So, but no, and then no, but he's been doing it full time again now too. He's happy doing it. And then I just been doing it ever since. So that was started about almost 2 years ago.
Okay. So how did you go about finding the right wrestling school for you?
So I was looking online, just trying to find what there's a school near me and stuff. There was a couple options. Decided to go with Camp Justice, just because it kind of my my budget and also my time schedule and stuff. Because there's so many places that have different ways of how they do it. That one was just the most convenient for me.
Okay.
So I decided to go to that school.
How long did you like train for before you actually got to like make a debut?
um, so I was training for about 8 months before I made my like my actual wrestling debut for that place. And then I was training for about another six before I actually left and got out into the world and stuff. About a year and a half almost of actual training before I got into the indies.
What was some of like the biggest things like that they drilled into you during training that stayed with you so far?
Etiquette. That's honestly the biggest thing. Speak to everybody. Or have a good attitude. Be approachable. Always be open to criticism. That's really the big thing because the and what I've learned in this, the more you know, the more you don't know. So I'm always open to learn things from people, and that's probably the biggest thing that I took from there is try to find people and listen to people who've been doing this for a while. They know what they're doing, know what they talk about, and really pay attention to what they're doing and what they're saying. And then also just showing up. That's another big thing. It's just like people were just like, oh, I'm not getting booked or all this stuff, or just like nobody's paying attention to me. And just like, well, nobody really knows who you are if you're not going places. It's just like the second I got cleared and I was able to go out in the world, I just started showing up places. And some places I didn't get paid at first, just paying dues, setting up rings, helping out. Some places I was able to do pre-show, match and all that stuff. And some of these places now I work there full time. So, it's it's just really be respectful, show up, do the work. That's really the biggest thing. So,
So, like, once it was time for you to get out there and start finding new places to work, find new experience on the independent scene, how did you go about doing that?
um, so there's obviously I've made friends and stuff. So guys that were doing this, longer than me, trainers that have been doing this longer than me, I just ask, where do they go, where do they suggest? They'll name a few places, and then I'll just go out there, just meet people, talk to people. That's really it. And then now I'm kind of where I'm searching. I'm starting to search out of state now, for places. So same thing. If I have something I'm interested in, if I know somebody that's been there, I'll ask them about it, and then either message the promoter or whoever's booking or anything like that. If it's close enough, sometimes I'll just show up and just help out in front of people.
So, like, most people start wrestling or training in their, late teens, early 20s. Has that
I
been
knew it was coming.
something that's been a challenge for you?
Um, yes, and also no. I was just about to turn 34.
Okay.
Um, or I was 33. I was 33, and then I got to about 34. The hardest thing about it is that I like to wrestle like I'm still in my 20s, but by the time I'm done and all the adrenaline's done and stuff, I completely fall apart. And I'm just like, I'm dead for days. No, but that's that like challenging. It's just like sometimes I kind of get looked at like I'm, like an old dude and stuff. But for the most part, no, I don't really have many challenges with it. If anything, I like the fact that I'm older. Because the veteran guys and the promoters and stuff are typically my age or even older and stuff. So it's just like it's easy. It's a lot easier for me to talk to them and
Makes
to
sense.
have that better understanding because there's that level of maturity that we have being able to talk to somebody who's 40 as opposed to being 18 talking to somebody who's 40. You know, so
Do you think your life experience maybe gives you an edge in trying to get out there and work with promoters and other people?
I would say so. Sometimes it's just like I'm not really just timid about it. And it's just like a lot of guys are just like, well, what if they say no? It's just like, well, what if they say yeah?
Exactly.
So it's just like I'm a firm believer. Sean even said this to me too. It's just like the answer is always no if you don't ask, and then also you're always one yes away from things changing. So it's just like you can have 10 no's, but that one yes can change everything. So so why not?
So, like, from looking through your social medias and looking through your work, it looks like you do a lot of tag team action. Do you prefer tags or singles?
I feel that's a loaded question. I love Dom. That's my boy. That's my boy. That's my brother. So when I originally started, I wanted to be a singles guy. Ended up getting put into a faction, or not really. Yeah, well, I got put into a faction, and then Dom came along about 2 months later. We ended up tagging together, and we just meshed really well. So we just kept it going. And I did have an opportunity to leave, get cleared for the rest of other places a little bit sooner, but I decided to stay just a little bit longer so we can go out together. And so yeah, no, I love being a tag team with him. He's very responsive. He's another guy. He's around the same age as me, so we have a good understanding of each other and stuff. Yeah, but as a preference, I mean, I like both. Just more or less depending on what I'm doing because we do tag at a lot of places, but there's also places where I do singles.
Okay.
So
What's your favorite tag team moment? Part of Obsidian. That's the name, right? I'm terrible with
Yeah, that's
names.
the so Obsidian
Okay.
is the faction that we're in, and then our tag
Gotcha.
team is we're Terminate on Site. So it's kind of
Okay.
like you know how like the New Age Outlaws is part of DX, but
Yeah,
like yeah, so that's kind of how we work.
I like
Sorry, that was my kid.
it.
Sorry,
It's all right.
I told her I was talking. It's okay. Um, so I'm sorry, I totally blanked on the question now.
Like, what's your favorite tag team moment with Obsidian?
My favorite tag team moment, um, probably our first ladder match together. That was actually a fun one. I enjoyed that one a lot. And then another close second would be our first time actually wrestling in the Indies together.
Okay.
So those are
What
my two
was
favorite moments.
what did that first match look like?
Terrible. No, it was all right. No, it was just no, just making fun of it. No, it was exciting, man, because it was like we got to finally be somewhere where people didn't really know who we were. So we had a moment to actually, in a way, kind of just reinvent who we were.
Mhm.
Because the tag team that we are now, then as a tag team when we started together, are completely different. So as far as like behaviors, attitudes, just how we wrestle, our style of wrestling definitely changed a lot.
What what style of wrestling do you enjoy participating in? Like, do you like your traditional? Or are you a hardcore guy? You also wrestle in like lucha libre companies. Like, is that something you enjoy?
So I like doing everything. I like doing everything if I'm able to. The hard part about lucha libre and traditional stuff, I don't run into a lot of guys who are the same size as me. When I do, I get super excited because then I can actually like, wrestle. Um, but I typically I like to fight. I'm a big brawler.
Mhm.
Punches, kicks, big slams, things like that. I have been getting into more hardcore style stuff lately because that's kind of the realm that I want to get into. This past weekend, all weekend, I did nothing but hardcore shows. So I'm definitely been enjoying that aspect of it too, having a lot of fun with that.
Do you think like the big man brawler characters have been uh like it's a lost art now in wrestling? Do you feel that way?
Yeah, to a degree, because it's people are so athletic now.
Yes.
Like it's insane. Like it's like Keith Lee, for example.
Hmm.
That man's like 300 pounds, and he's doing insane. He's done insane things in that ring that no man that size should be doing. So there are moments where I'm just like I'll pull out a couple things that that they're just random. That just like, oh, we can do that, and it's like, yeah, but I typically don't have a lot of opportunities to do so. But when I do, I love doing it. But
So, speaking of big men, if
mhm.
if you had to pick somebody out there, whether on the Indies or on TV, that you'd like to have a matchup with, who's somebody that you haven't got to that's kind of your size, kind of your stature, that you'd like to
That's
have one of those meat
anybody
fest
and
with?
anybody and everybody.
Okay.
Um, Not specifically though. The match that I do want, we're actually having it at the end of October. Uh, is with this tag team called the Dead, and
Okay.
Bojack and Caesar. These are some incredibly athletic dudes, incredibly big. They're both bigger than me actually. They're closer to Dom size.
Okay.
But I've been dying for us to tag against them forever, and we finally got an opportunity to do it. So I'm super excited for it because it's going to be a hell of a match. So
Definitely. Earlier you brought up matchup with Rhino. How
mhm.
did that come about? And what was that experience like with him? Did you get to pick his brain or anything like that?
Yeah. So I did a couple seminars with him, about like 4 or 5. So I got to sit and talk with him quite a bit. Um, so we had an event um at a company called Pure Pro Wrestling. I was with my faction during the time, Obsidian, and had a we had issues with Rhino, and and we decided to put our hands on him a little bit. So we ended up it ended up in a, I think it's an 8-man tag actually.
Hmm.
Um, so that's what we ended up doing. It was a really fun experience, you know. That guy to this day, solid workhorse, smart as all hell. Man, he is a walking encyclopedia of wrestling. So it was a really cool experience to do that with him.
Is it cool to see somebody from the Michigan area who's done so much in this business, like to be in the ring and see somebody that's from that same area as you, to be able to work with them, knowing that they've been in WWE and TNA and AEW, things like that?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was awesome, but also super intimidating.
Okay.
Because this guy has been doing it for so long. He's been a wrestling guy probably since I was like 6, 7. You know. So and then him being from the Metro Detroit area and stuff. It's really cool to be around that. And he's still a super nice guy. I was actually super afraid to work with him and stuff, but then ended up being like one of the best experiences I've had.
With Rhino, it's funny, and me and him talked about this in the episode I had with him. But you brought up he's such a nice guy. I brought that up too during his interview, and all he kept saying was, "Kid, you're ruining my character because I'm supposed to be this man beast, this monster, and you keep putting me over." But
Yeah.
you can't talk about Rhino without telling how like incredible of a person he is, because
I mean, he is. He is the type of person that he watches everybody. Like even if you don't think that he is up here, he pays attention to so many places. And if there's something about you that he likes, he's always willing to give you opportunities. You know. So
So seeing how you're just what, like around 2 years into your career so far,
yeah, about
two
that. Yeah.
ish. Where are some places on the indies or even further that you haven't had the chance to work yet that you'd like to get out there to?
So my thing is just like I'm just really just enjoying this ride right now.
Okay.
And I'm just kind of just going wherever it takes me. Like I don't have like these super huge aspirations to be like this larger than life personality and stuff. It's just like I'm just really enjoying just being a wrestler and just going wherever it takes me. Um, but I guess if I really had to pick like where I would want to end up, it's probably like GCW, Game Changer Wrestling, and MLW stuff like that. So it's just like enough to where like I can constantly work, you know. But then also it's just like I like being around my kids, I like having my family. So it's just like being one of those guys that are on the road 365 away from my family and stuff doesn't really sound overly appealing. But then also at the same time, if those opportunities ever come knocking, I mean, I'm not gonna say no, I'm not an idiot. But
What's it like for you being a father in this sport?
um, it's stressful a little bit sometimes. My youngest daughter, she's a wrestling fan. She enjoys it. My oldest one, she's kind of indifferent. She likes it, but then she's just kind of just like, yeah, it's just what dad does. You know.
Do they enjoy watching you like at shows and stuff like that?
Yeah, so my oldest daughter, she likes watching me wrestle, but then outside of that, she's kind of just like whatever about it. My youngest daughter, she actually just likes wrestling in general.
Okay.
And I'm not even her favorite wrestler, which is annoying, sad.
Who's their favorite wrestler?
So her two favorite wrestlers, her number one favorite is actually Danhausen. She loves Danhausen.
Okay.
And then her second favorite wrestler is a guy by the name of Chase. He's Chase Bennett. He's a older guy. He's an old man, basically. The best way to describe him. He's an old man in suspenders. He was actually just on GCW. He freaking was killing it. So those are my daughter's two favorite wrestlers. And then I'm her third.
Okay.
But so she's definitely into the more character driven type of wrestling, which
Yeah,
I love too. So I can't be mad at that. And if I had to be third behind, it's nice to be behind those two guys because they're great dudes. So
definitely. Definitely. I mean, I like the because most people like most kids are. I mean, they're watching TV. They're liking their John Cena's or your Cody Rhodes's.
mhm,
So for her to pick an out of this like an out of a box choice like a Danhausen
mhm,
is interesting because I mean it shows she's actually paying attention to the product, which is you don't get a lot of that with kids these days. Kids' attentions aren't there, so it's cool that she's paying that much attention.
yeah.
Um, so like something fun and different I've been doing on the channel. My little brother actually
Mhm,
he does live streams with me. We call him Nasty Nate here on the channel.
okay.
Um, but he's always asking us what our starting five is, like what our starting five lineup for candies and just random shit because he's a
Okay.
kid.
Yeah.
So I've introduced the starting five in this aspect. Let's say you as a coach, you had to pick
Mhm,
five people to be on your team.
mhm.
Who would your starting five lineup be? It doesn't have to be wrestlers per se, but who do you want to bring with you um, to lead the victory? Whether it's in a wrestling ring, whether it's you know a sport, just who's on the team.
Uh, well, I love football, so we can do this, I guess. Um, Jared Goff, uh, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. Was that three? Um, Aiden Hutchinson, and Jameer Gibbs. But
Okay.
like I'm a big football fan, so
Who's your team?
the Lions, obviously.
The line.
I named all Lions. So I've
Okay.
been a Lions fan for as long as I can remember. You know, from Michigan, been there since the Sanders days, been there through the dark ages of the 0-16 Lions.
Okay.
So always been a fan of them.
Who's going to the Super Bowl this year?
I mean, hopefully Detroit. I mean, how they played against the Ravens. I mean, I'm a believer of it this season. So I mean, here's hoping. I mean, the Super Bowl that I want is the Lions and the Bills, or the Lions and the Ravens again, or the Lions and the Ravens.
Okay.
So, but we'll see. It's early in the season, so things can
Hey,
happen.
fair enough. You know, it's funny because like I'm originally from West Virginia, so we don't have a team per se. Like we have college teams, but we don't have a team per
Yeah,
se. So
yeah.
like I always thought it was fun because I kind of got to pick. Like I could pick
Mhm.
whoever because I ain't got a team. So
Yeah.
like I've always been I've been a Cowboys fan my entire life, but they haven't won nothing my entire life. They haven't won nothing since '96.
Interviews over, man.
So as far as teams that need some work, I think mine needs probably some of the most work,
Yeah,
arguably.
yeah. I've never been a Cowboys fan.
No, not at all.
No, never.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I guess that's where we disagree. I guess
Oh, that's all right. That's all right.
it happens. Um, but before I let you go, it's very close to the end of the year. I always try to ask people,
Mhm.
everybody has goals. So
Yeah.
what are your goals heading out of 2025, and where do you want to see yourself going in 2026?
So 2026, I do want to try to get more time out of state.
Okay,
Uh, like when I mean out of state, I don't mean like Ohio. I mean like even further, like freaking Kentucky, Texas, California, New York, New Jersey, Florida, Georgia. I actually get out, get out. Um, Also have a big goal of wanting to wrestle in Canada.
okay,
So,
it's not too far. It's right across the
oh
water.
yeah, I'm actually so funny thing is technically speaking, I'm north of Canada. Technically speaking, just because Metro Detroit is north of Windsor.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
yeah, it's a joke, but yeah. But yeah, that's definitely a place that I do want to go, just because I do want to quote unquote wrestle internationally.
Okay,
But I think Canada is a good place to start because it's right there. So
definitely. Bishop, I just want to say thank you for the conversation. I had a great time.
yeah,
Um,
for sure, man.
if you ever want to come on for a part two, maybe even bring the tag partner along, I'd love to have it. I'd love to do a part
No,
two.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's always down to do interviews. Actually, he's one of the funniest guys that I know.
Okay, I'll have to reach
So yeah, definitely. So that's a big Dom, and he almost every wrestling match we're in, he gets me to break at least once.
out.
I
Okay,
don't like it's I don't know what it is about him. He's just like unintentionally hilarious.
I love it. Okay, I'll have to message him after we get off here.
Yeah, no, for sure, man.
But I know we did at the beginning of the show, but just in case they wasn't paying attention for some reason or they was scrolling through comments or something, would you like to
Yeah.
shout out your social medias?
Oh yeah. So at Machine Gun Bishop on Instagram. So it's machine underscore gun underscore Bishop, and then Facebook's Machine Gun Bishop. That's really the only two that I typically use.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, no, for sure, man.
I'll just leave this at see you next time then.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was great talking to you, and hopefully, we can talk again soon, and dive in a little bit deeper and stuff when I have a little bit more time. Absolutely, because there's a whole lot of stuff I can talk about. So,
Definitely, definitely. We'll make it happen.
yeah, absolutely, man.